5, 3, 2, 1. Release, release, release. Ignition. Good control. There's Mach 1. The pilots have started trimming for that turn towards space. Max Q, that's the point of maximum pressure exerted on the vehicle by the atmosphere. Experiencing about 3 Gs right now and traveling over 1,000 miles an hour. That's
incredible.
Awesome.
Go Keisha, go Anna, go John. They are officially astronauts. Welcome to space. Woo. Congratulations to John, to Keisha, to Anna on becoming astronauts today. And a special congratulations to our Unity pilot, Kelly, for her first space flight.
The feather is all the way up. We have a predicted apogee of about 289,000 feet. And the vehicle is oriented in that backflip or that upside down maneuver from our perspective. And you can see them just enjoying that view of the Earth below. They've just made the return to seat call. They do that before we get to about 0.1 Gs. The pilots tell the passengers when to return to their seats, and then it's something that our training team has made very natural and intuitive. Beautiful.
Now let's shift our focus to space. Another company has begun trying to reach the stars and trying to make a fortune doing it. British billionaire Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic is open for business. It launched its second commercial space flight yesterday. 3 space tourists went to the edge of the atmosphere. They spent a few minutes hovering above the Earth. Then they came back to gush about their experiences. The space tourists included an 80-year-old former Olympian with Parkinson's disease and the first mother-daughter duo in space. Those two won a lottery for the spaceflight tickets. It sounds like a feel-good story, doesn't it? And we are happy about these unlikely tourists. But the flight should also have us worried. After Elon Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, a third billionaire space tourism company is operational. And this industry brings with it a lot of risks for the rest of us. Here's a report.
Another space tourism company has launched, Virgin Galactic. Richard Branson's much-delayed space venture has finally taken off.
2, 1, release, release, release.
The company had its first commercial flight on June 29th. That one had scientists on board.
Welcome back to Space Unity.
But the second flight, the Galactic 02, took off yesterday, and it ferried out space tourists. One was 80-year-old former Olympian John Goodwin. He was Virgin Galactic's first paying customer. He bought the ticket 18 years ago, all the way back in 2005. He paid about $250,000 for his seat. Now, all these years later, he finally went to the edge of space. He's also the second person suffering from Parkinson's disease to go to space.
I'm hoping that I instill in other people around the world, as well as people with Parkinson's, that it doesn't stop you doing things that are out of the normal. If you've got something that's some illness that's inflicted you. So I just hope the good comes out of that as far as other Parkinson's people suffering.
2, 1, release, release, release.
With Goodwin were Keisha Shahaf and Anastasia Mayers, a mother-daughter duo, the first ever to go to space together. They're also the first people of African-Caribbean heritage in space, so it was another milestone. The pair were lucky with their tickets. They didn't pay nearly as much as Goodwin. They won the tickets in a lottery.
Hi Anna, you and your mother are going to space.
Anna, we won! I'm still up there. I'm not here yet. I'm still up there, and it's just amazing that you can land so smoothly on the runway coming back from space. That was the most amazing. I mean, looking at Earth was the most amazing.
You are so much more connected to everything than you would expect to be.
like you felt like a part of the team, a part of the ship, a part of the universe, a part of Earth. It was incredible, and I'm still starstruck.
She says she was starstruck. And who wouldn't be? She went to space, the final frontier. The mother-daughter pair were incredibly lucky to get a chance. But how many will get that lucky? How many of us will get a chance to blast off to space because of a lottery? Or will space tourism mostly be a millionaire's hobby? Goodwin paid $250,000 18 years ago for his chance. The first space tourist was Dennis Tito from the US. He went to the International Space Station in 2001 aboard a Russian Soyuz spacecraft. Back in those days, he paid $20 million for the experience. Between 2001 and 2009, there were 8 space tourists. All of them paid $20 million or more to go to space. And they were tagging along with astronauts on missions. So, back then, space tourism was a way to subsidize scientific endeavors. That isn't the case anymore. Today, you have 3 billionaires trying to carve out a niche in the space tourism industry. Elon Musk with SpaceX, Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin, and now Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic. They all have unique types of spacecraft, and the distances they reach are different, but they have one thing in common. Other than during publicity stunts, their passengers have to pay a lot.
Welcome to space.
The prices are usually hushed up, but one SpaceX tourism flight ended up costing the tourists $55 million each. Now you can say it's their money. They should be able to spend it the way they like. But should they be allowed to do it if it can hurt the rest of us? Which it can. Here's how. Research papers have shown that space tourism is a massively polluting industry. If we get constant reminders about how our car emissions are hurting the planet, think of what the rockets are doing. Even private jets don't compare to space tourism pollution. And the worst part is, the rockets can bring back a problem we're actually fixing, the ozone layer hole. These tourist rockets could undo the repairs to the ozone layer, once again showering those of us on the ground with harmful radiation. And for what? So that rich people can pay millions to float about in zero gravity? None of that money is coming to us. Whatever taxes a launchpad country charges, they won't get shared equally around the world. Only the consequences will. While we may be fine with taking risks for scientific study, are we willing to suffer for a millionaire's fantasy? So, until it's regulated and deemed safe for us down below, space tourism may need to be grounded before we all go up in smoke.
How's it going, everyone? This is Michael. Just so we get it out of our heads from now, most people will not be able to afford this, but Virgin Galactic offering space tourism tickets worth over $450K. That's a lot, man. The company with the likes of Blue Origin and SpaceX is catering to wealthy individuals who are willing to pay large sums of money. I'm not even really sure if people are overall willing to risk it anymore after that submarine incident. Virgin Galactic has already booked approximately 800 customers, with ticket prices ranging from $250 to $450K per seat. Yeah, that's a house. That's a house to regular people. Just get it out of your minds from now. How safe is the ticket to space? In 2014, an earlier prototype crashed during a test flight, resulting in the death of one pilot. Jeez, passengers are required to sign waivers acknowledging the risks that are involved with space tourism. The debate over the definition of spaceflight also plays a role in the competition amongst companies. Yeah. The New Shepard rocket ship surpasses the internationally recognized Kármán line at 62 miles, while the Virgin Galactic's flight crossed the 50-mile mark. However, NASA and US Air Force consider anyone who has flown 50 miles or higher to be an astronaut. Man, listen. I wouldn't go that far. Like, astronauts training, studying. You're just a nigga who been in space. Oh man. That is expensive. And this is another thing too that we have to speak on. The risk that comes with it. Like, rockets launched by billionaires Elon Musk and Richard Branson emit black carbon in the stratosphere, where it is 500 times worse for the climate than it is on Earth. There's no buffer. It's just dropping right on us. So if there's a tourism thing with this, like, it may really undo what we've accomplished regarding repairing the ozone layer. The burgeoning space tourism industry could soon fuel significant global warming while also depleting the protective ozone layer. The key focus of the study was emissions of black carbon or soot from the combustion of rocket fuel. Black carbon, which comes from burning fossil fuels or biomass, I read that wrong, absorbs light from the sun and releases thermal energy, making it a powerful climate warming energy agent. Yeah, guys, it's like, this is not going to be good for the rest of us. We can't even afford it, and we're going to be the ones getting the brunt of it. That doesn't even make sense. And according to this side over here, they have, how many people signed up? They've already booked 800 customers. 500 times as worse. A big ramp up in the number of space launches, which is hoped for by the space tourism industry, poses a risk to the climate by adding black carbon particles to the upper atmosphere. Yeah, we should think very carefully about regulating this industry before it gets out of hand. Agreed. It would be a real shame for humanity to look back in 50 or 100 years when we've got thousands of rocket launches a year and think, if only we've done something. Yeah, gotta cut it now. To help calculate the impact of space flights, Ryan and colleagues produced an inventory of all pollutants released from the 103 rockets launched worldwide in 2019, as well as data on the entry of reusable rockets and space junk descending back into Earth's atmosphere. After just 3 years of more than once-a-day rocket launches, space tourism would account for 6% of warming due to black carbon. The study also found that rockets deplete the Earth's atmospheric ozone layer, which protects the planet from harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Yeah, it's gonna do too much. It's being pretty much dumped directly into the stratosphere. It's not like it's down here and it's getting, it's going through the atmosphere and then going up to destroy. It's getting a direct dump on it. And regardless of the fuel type used, all rockets contributed to additional ozone depletion. We need another way to travel, man. Military industrial complex, if you guys for real have it, anti-gravity, I have to release that. And I guess here they're trying things to help combat it. Blue Origin, the space tourism company owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, envisions millions of people living and working in space for the benefit of Earth. Of course, that's the next step. But we need anti-gravity or something. Company executives did not respond to a request for the comment. Blue Origin's rockets burn liquid hydrogen and oxygen and emit water vapor and nitrogen oxides, but not black carbon. So it's less damaging. Emissions from hydrogen-fueled rockets in the upper atmosphere pose less of a threat than other rocket types, but emissions of nitrogen oxides in the stratosphere and the emissions that go into producing liquid hydrogen on Earth are still a concern. Right. Elon Musk stated that SpaceX plans to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and turn it into the rocket fuel. Wait. To remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and turn it back into rocket fuel. You're just putting it right back in. Musk is also funding a $100 million prize for the development of carbon removal. You don't even have the means to do it yet. You're just saying you will, and you just put out the check. Yeah. They need to think before they act, and they ought to consider all the options of minimizing the impact. And the final decision over whether it's worthwhile to society to allow this enterprise should be made in some kind of governance way. I agree. It's gonna be like, you know, the oil rush and everything over again, but this is pretty much it, guys. I promise you, this is not for everybody. This is too much money. But it is exciting though. This is super exciting. I'm not gonna lie. That private companies are really pushing the envelope. Like NASA really need to step their shit up. But knowing NASA, it'll probably be a lot more. But thanks again, everybody, for coming to this news report on space tourism being actually a thing. I'll try and keep you guys posted. Thanks again, and be safe, everyone.